Everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today is September 13th, 2021. We have a few kit releases this week, which we'll go into here in a second. And then we got Hasegawa's announcements for basically the end of the year. Here it's been November and December. We'll go into those in greater detail because there are two brand new Tool automotive kits in there, along with a significantly modified reissue that we called based on another kit that is coming out in October. And yeah, then a bunch of other sort of modified, slightly parts wise, modified with new decals, a new resin girls, of course, and a few other odds and ends to go over as well. So let's take a look at the kit releases this week first, so that way, if you don't care, you don't have to stay around. If you do care, well, hang out. This won't take that long. There's only a few things. On the domestic side of things, we got our September release from round two, and that is the AMT 1964 Ford Galaxy 500XL. This is the curbside kit. Uh, Obviously, your Cal Combo pooling vehicle for the trailer and the dragster, rather. This, I believe, has a slightly different set of decals included. It's in the smaller Craftsman Plus series box, like the 63 Noble Wagon comes in. So if you're looking for this on the shelf, it's not in a full-size box, and it is in the slightly smaller one. Otherwise, the kit is the same thing as it was in the Cal Combo or any of the other versions of this kit you've seen released since 1964 when it was originally tooled. Does have pad printed tires in it, which I believe it had in the Cal Combo too, but that is obviously something it did not have in the past. But, all in all, it's, I think, 38 parts or something like that. Curbside. And so if you're interested in that, if you didn't want to buy the whole drag racing setup, you can now buy this kit separately by itself. Over in Japan, we got a few of the sort of last of the August kit reissues from the folks over at Aoshima, and a couple of these will also be September releases. So again, just straight restocks on all this stuff. We're not getting into the actual September kits as of yet. And they are reissue of the 1990 Toyota Century, reissue of the 1982 Toyota Celica XX, Celica Super here, but this is a JDM only version, so it is only just the right-hand drive Celica XX. Reissue of one of my personal favorites, the Mitsubishi Delicious Star Wagon. Always fun, these four-wheel drive crazy minivans that Mitsubishi put out between this one and the Space Gear. And then last but not least this week is the 1999 Mazda Roadster, which we would call, of course, I think this is technically still a Miata, this second gen, or it might have just been an MX-5 at that point, but this is the one second gen kit that does come with the left-hand drive parts. They don't mention it. Obviously, the box art's a right-hand drive Japanese kit, but of the two different NB Miata kits that they've released over time, this is the one that does have that left-hand drive. So if you want to create the export spec MX-5 to fit in with your collection of MX-5s, your first gen Revell or Tamiya kit, the second gen kit, the third gen Fujimi kit, and of course the fourth gen back over to Tamiya again. And yeah, that's back out there. And that's really it for kit releases this week. So kit announcements is all about the Hasegawa. All about it. So we're going to do these in the order of the months that they're going to be released. In November, going to get a reissue of their venerable Toyota Corolla AE 101 Japanese Touring Car Championship kit. This is going to be a 1993 season car for Tom's Toyota. It is literally sponsored by Tom's themselves. Is a what they calling a participation car, meaning it didn't actually do very well. I believe they're going to give you decals to do both of the team cars, and I believe there is a podium somewhere in one of those team cars. But overall, it was just a sort of field filler also ran. And again, this is sort of an expanding of the Corolla AE 101 into the 1993 season, where previously was a 1992, 1992 series kit for the most part in its history. You're going to get a reissue of the Nissan Bluebird SSSR Rally version. This is going to be for the late kit. You may recall that civilian version, if you will, of this rally kit came out a few months ago. This is going to be the rally version for the 1989 All Japan Rally. Um, I did not write down the actual rally name, unfortunately, but in the rally, there's 2 team cars, and you get the cars placed second and fifth within that rally. When the kit comes out, we'll make sure we get you the actual rally name. And the new part here is going to be a new roll cage addition to this. The kit itself comes with a little bit of roll cage. This one has a little bit more. I think between the 1988 kit, which came out last year, and the 1989 season version, there was a slight difference in the roll cage specifications for safety. So you get that covered there. That's a Calsonic car. It's blue, like all of your Calsonic race cars in a JGTC and JTC and all that. Reissue of the Mazda 767B and the what is known as the Alexol car. This is from the 1992 Japanese sports car prototype series. This car ran 1 race. 1992, all of the 767s pretty much had gone away except for the Placer cars. And this was actually one of the Ford-powered cars. If you happen to have the 1991 season car, this is the Navi 767B. I'm trying to think if it's anywhere in the background of this shot. And it is not. I think it's over this way somewhere. But this car did run in 1991. They've done that. They've done that car, and then this was the follow-up car. And like I said, it ran 1 race, blew the motor, and that was it. It never will see the light of day again. So it's a very unique sort of footnote in Japanese sports car prototype history. Then you get a reissue of the BMW 2002 Ti. This is going to be a 1971 Monte Carlo rally, Class 2.5 participation car. I believe the car finished 3rd or 4th in its class. I have to go look that up to be specific. But no new parts here, just a new set of decals. Reissue of the Lancia Stratos HF street car. And this is going to have an Italian resin girl. Resin girl, all the things. Reissue of their 1995 Subaru Impreza World Rally Championship Monte Carlo Rally winning car. Now, this kit was done 2 years ago, I want to say, and it was done with both the Rack Rally. People hate when I say that, the Royal Auto Club Rally. The Rack Rally and the Monte Carlo Rally as being alternate decal options for it. And this is actually going to be what they're considering to be a super detail kit. I don't believe they've done this before, at least that I can find for the specific kit. But it's going to have resin parts, white metal parts, and photo etch parts. And the white metal parts are going to be a tarmac suspension, front wheels, brakes. There's going to be PE for things like the windshield wipers and things of that nature. And then you have some resin bits and pieces for the tarmac suspension as well. So it is a very specific reissue of this kit to tarmac specifications for the Monte Carlo Rally. The Rack Rally is a gravel rally, and technically I think that Impreza runs a off-road gravel rally suspension all the time. So this is a $75 way to convert the kit into a tarmac car, which I'm thinking is probably not that far off what a resin transkit tarmac version of this cost from like Renaissance or one of those other companies. So just something to keep in mind. And then lastly for November is a reissue of their new 3rd Gen Super Kit that came out last year. 1990 spec this time, a 2.5 GT Turbo. And this is going to have a new set of seats, Recaro buckets, and then new wheels. 1990 was the year that Toyota switched from Toyota in like block cap letters to the global T. And if you're thinking, what the Toyota logo that was used all through 90s, 2000s, and I think it may still be in use, technically speaking, in certain cars, but it is that T within the globe, oval, that they went to. So 1990s when they switched over to that, and so this has obviously decals as well, but the wheels have the center cap covers with the Toyota, the new global Toyota Circle T logos, and then it's a set of Recaro buckets in there as well. So over to December, where we're going to talk about some of these new tool kits. So let's cover the other stuff first. Oh, you're so close, but yet so far. So reissue of the Toyota Corolla A92 JTC car. This is going to be the 1989 JTC FET Power Corolla, and this car did get a few podiums along the way. That gives you decals to do both team cars, and both team cars actually did podium. Second place in the second race of the season's best finish. Reissue of their Mitsubishi Galant VR4 rally car in the 1991 RAC Rally, the Royal Auto Club Rally, Advan colors. This was a participation car. I do not believe it finished the rally. A reissue of the Toyota Celica 1600 GT, just the regular kit, just a reissue of that. Then you're going to get a reissue of the Nissan R32 GTR, their new tool R32, this time in street form again. And this is going to have the, they're putting a new set of headlights in the Kawasaki, I don't have the image in front of me. The green JTC oil sponsored car. And that kit is getting new headlights, projector beam headlights put in. And they're going to carry those projector beam headlights as they were in the street car, which are, again, just slightly different than the race car spec was. And this will allow you to build either a mid or late version of the R32 GTR, which, according to Hasegawa, is a 1991 or a 1993 GTR. This is probably going to be one of the situations where parts to do these kits have been in there. The street kits have been the Nismo and the early version. So between those kits, they're more than likely the parts have been in there to do these later kits. They just haven't had the correct headlights. And so again, 93 was the last year of the R32 before we went to the R33. 91 would just be the next version of the kit from what the versions they've released already. Decals changing and things like that, but yeah, that's an option out there if you're interested in it. Reissue of the Toyota 2000 GT in its 67 Fuji 24-hour winning version, and this is going to be a super detail version. So much like the street car, this has a white metal engine, white metal and resin components for the engine bay itself, PE hinges, and underhood texture. So this is going to full detail your 2000 GT in its race format. And then in a significantly modified reissue, you're going to get this Mazda RX-7 from the 1979 24 Hours of Daytona in its GTU class winning format. So when they announced the SA22C RX-7, one of the first things I said was, hey, that would be great to replace that old IMEI kit that Aoshima keeps reissuing as the 24-hour class winner. And hey, look, they're going to actually do that. So no foreknowledge in that. That was just a call out to the wild, and they heard it, I guess. So you get a little bit of a view on this this screen here of the new parts. Racing interior, obviously, slicks, new wheels, the over fenders for the racing version, the big rear spoiler, which also kind of looks like the turbo spoiler. So that may be foreshadowing, again, that version of the street car in later date. New front spoiler, the not so much off-road lights, but the 24-hour grill lights and things like that. So super awesome to see this get done. Very interesting to see it has Winston logos already on the decal sheet in this projected image. So let's hope they stay there, because they have sometimes not included the correct cigarette images in their Group C IMSA cars that they've released. So that's very cool, and will put to bed once and for all one of the old 1980s kits that floats around. And then the two new tool kits. First up, you have a Isuzu 117 Coupe early version. So obviously there's going to be a late version of this eventually, or maybe a middle version of this, because the early version, these cars were hand built for the first 4 years of production. This actually includes bonus parts to do what was known as the 117 EC, which was the electronic fuel controlled version that has a single exhaust. This has a dual exhaust if you look at the picture. And that'll let you build literally the first run of the 117s. This is built in this photo, and this next photo show you how it just was in the first 4 years of production. There was I think they're calling this a 1970 officially, and there was a facelifted version when it went into mass production, and then there was a late version which has sort of a squintier headlight aperture with square headlights instead of round ones. So I'm guessing we're probably going to see that at some point in time. You know, Hasegawa, they never release something just to have one version of the kit out there. Interesting that they included the EC parts as a bonus in here rather than having them be a separate kit that would come out later in life. I'm sure by 2024 we'll have resin girled this and thrown some chin spoilers on it and stuff like that. But in the meantime, this is really cool. Now, there is a Fujimi version of this that is an early late kind of thing. And, you know, it's a Fujimi kit. So while it was tooled up in like the mid 2000s, this will be like almost 20 years newer when it comes out. It has that Fujimi thing where it's not really accurate to either. It's a nice kit. It's not a motorized or anything else like that, but it's not what we're getting out of Hasegawa at this point. Now, Hasegawa is not Tamiya by any stretch of the imagination, but the new toolkits they've been putting out have been very nice. They've gone together well. They've been very well. They've come down really well on the dividing line between complex and easy to assemble. They include a lot of detail and a lot of parts, but the parts all fit together real well, at least for the couple of ones that I've been tinkering with. The Toyo Starlet that I was working on, I have BMW 2002 I've tinkered with in the background that you guys haven't seen. So yeah, it's, you know, these have been pretty decent kits, and I expect this one to be the same. And then the other one, which will be sort of the end of the year, be interested to see if this actually comes out before the end of the year or not, but this is listed as a late December release, and that is a Toyota MR2 AW11 late version G Limited Supercharger T-bar roof. So it's, you know, you can't meet a Hasegawa kit that doesn't use the entire top of that shadow box that goes across the box tops that they use. Now, what this is in its format here is going to be a G Limited Supercharger, which is the turbocharged version. G Limited was the top of the line trim level, and T-bar roof in this case is a T-top. They're also going to include in this kit as, again, bonus parts, just a regular metal roof as well as a naturally aspirated engine cover. The engine cover is, because it's separate, they are going to include like a engraved top of the engine to put underneath the engine cover. There's not a lot to look at in a first gen MR2 engine compartment. It's really crammed in there because the engine, remember, in these things is midship. It's right behind the driver's seat, and the door on top is like smaller than a closet door, obviously in width, but also in length. And it's, you know, one of those very tight things. So I think with some detail painting, you'll probably be able to get away with that. You know, what would the benefit be of putting it in as a full detail engine, other than the fact that you get to build an engine, that whole thing. It does appear that the sort of the flying buttress and seat pillars are a separate part, and that's how they're doing the whole roof being its own panel. So it'll be interesting to see how that fits. That's going to be one of those things where they're going to have to, you know, that would be the delay, I would think, in this, is making sure that all of that roof components and rear deck components are all separate in a engineering sense, all come together and fit, because if they don't, then, you know, it's a useless model if we can't put the roof on it. You can do the headlights up or down like they do with their Supras, and this is just, again, another cool thing. The Fujimi first gen MR2 isn't a bad kit. Again, it's one of those kits that at this point sells for like $12 when it comes up on reissues because it's from the 1990s. But I would expect, again, Hasegawa to really give you something pretty nice here as well. And this, of course, will go very nicely with the third gen Supra. And it'd be nice if we get a second gen Supra. I know it would probably be a Celica Double X for over there again because of the whole JDM thing. But the two versions of the Celica Double X that are out there, the Aoshi one we just talked about and the Fujimi one, are pretty bad and in motorized 1980 sense. So a new one would be appreciated, especially if they made it left-hand drive Celica Supra out of it. But we'll see if that comes to fruition or not. Right now, I'm just going to be happy with what we get. A new MR2 is pretty cool. And yeah, that pretty much wraps this one up. So some pretty neat things coming out of Hasegawa for November and December. And we'll see you guys on the other side.